Welcome back, friends. Last guy here. Time for more Great Ace Attorney, and we're looking for a guy. Let's examine. Like the bomb. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Miss Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. It looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in a large... Ah! Ah! Mrs. Sato, what's the matter? That's, surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What? Did you say? Yeah, a time bomb? Where's my Scottish? Where's the Scottish? A time bomb? Sorry, but... what is a time bomb exactly? Eh? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ah, you don't know nothing, do you, Odo? You haven't got a clue of what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it? I see. So that's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes. Have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. I'm fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. This isn't Professor Layton. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mrs. Sato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Yes, music always kicks in when it's deduction time. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without a question, completely genuine. Oh, it's gonna be not real then. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. His face! Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea, though. That's better. You deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mr. Sato. Oh, yes. I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Should they be looking for this guy as quick as they can? But no, they're doing a deduction. The game's afoot. Flipped furniture. She's so excited. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table, the chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on a ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room is on a ceiling? Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. Okay. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. I'm gonna assume he rotated the room, not that. But the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Mrs. Sato. I, too, was incredulous at first. You see, that train's right side up, so there are things that are right side up. The painting's right side up. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to one that featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. No? But why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction is switched. We'll switch. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. Now, sometimes he has more believable things. This one's not so good at all. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we are now. Find this room. Part 2. Oh no, he's still going. Okay. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Draper, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I have witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. He was like a freaking reference to Inception. Because gravity was reversed. Oh my god. Maybe he was searching for something, or he rotated the room. Because he might have the engineering to do it. Missing engineer, number 2. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because the nearby skylight. Of course, Draper's aim was singular, to escape. However, there's but one way into this room, excepting the skylight, that is. Ah. By inverting the gravity in here, Mr. Draper was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling. If it was that kind of game, I'd believe it. And make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving these footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, would Mr. Draper have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? It only takes 5 feet to mess you up. Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escape through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Draper was able to escape this room before our arrival. Thing is, like, all the paintings are right side up, so what's going on? Also, that safe is not upside down from what I can tell, is it? No, safe's not upside down. Only certain things are upside down, so I don't know. What could have messed everything up? He was searching for something is my best guess. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. If only that was the way it worked. Missing engineer, escape via the skylight. This concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Ah. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there is just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. But your whole deduction hinges on it! Ah, but my dear fellow, you have eliminated the impossible. Whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. Huh? It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. Had Iris come up with the exact phrasing, my original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mrs. Sato lent me once. Objection! Whoa, she objected. Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, in lonely coil near the wall. But if Mr. Draper had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find do ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we faced in this room, now skillfully unraveled. That argument is as circular as the coils of rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. And we must do it quickly before Enoch Trevor gets too far away, or if that bomb is real! If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Addendum. Get some water in me really quick. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Skip to when we know we need something. Here we go. I think gravity could have been reversed in this very room. I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation. But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility. So... Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once. Oh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mrs. Sato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. The large safe makes me curious. Upright vase. Yeah, the vase would break, wouldn't it? Oh no, the safe's bolted, so it doesn't matter. Let's go with the vase. Well, well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure. Oh, look at that. I know, that slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think the fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Miss Naruhodo, something else about it made it a rather deeper impression on me. The safe's bolted, so it's probably not this. Look at the safe, though. Oh, look, Mrs. Sato. When everything seems to be upside down in here, the safe is conspicuously the right way up, don't you think? Oh, wait. It's conspicuously the right way up. Have you noticed? Yes, that's true. But look more closely at the safe's feet. Bolted. Ah, that's a lot of very large bolts fixing it to the floor. Think before you speak, that's what you wanted to say, isn't it? I really put my foot in my mouth there. I certainly didn't say that. Yeah, so it is the vase. Alright, present the vase.
Take that!
Yep, alright, that's the vase. Oh, it's in that shot? Never noticed. The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. A Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? Sure. No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much of it as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. my deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Alright, here we go. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally there's an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So it's not. So he's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. What? Alright. Save combination. Look! There's something written on the underside of this armchair. Oh yes, safe 432582. Safe? As in safe and secure? As in secure lockable box, I think. Admittedly more likely. Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So you mean this number would let us open it? I wonder why it's written here, though. So they were looking for this combination. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely, I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year. When I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it for people of forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. And that's it for people of forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. Yeah, her book. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my... What? So I had to turn my room upside... There it is. Thank you, Miss Naruhodo, but I believe I've proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of the piece of furniture, but forgot which one. Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Draper overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. There we go. This guy was reversed. To find the safe combination. Yep, there we go. Solved. Now for part 2. Alright, skip to the whole... Here we go. Yeah, this is the one I need to know. Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footprints get there? Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to... Oh, the rope. He used the rope to climb up. He climbed up to the skylight, so he did leap through the skylight with a rope, I guess? I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. What? Alright, you got me. What? 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 This is a gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's helium that's keeping it up. A green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me? If you can see, there are footprints on this balloon. Too, look. Oh yes, surely that's a clue, isn't it? Though what it tells us, I'm not sure. Look at the shoe, too. It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look! Oh yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon, too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though? Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid. I don't know which was the shoe or the balloon. Show the shoe. It is the shoe, okay. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. On closer inspection, there are clearly footprints on all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon? That seems somewhat familiar, Data. Ah! It was a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Mr. Gotts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception. You mean to say, if we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Ah! Most probably Mr. Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside. Alright, the rope now. Okay, here we go. Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground? Which is much easier said than done, I feel. It could take us a very long time as well. True, perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? They do? Oh, the crossbow?
Take that!
Uh-huh. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? That was found at the scene, in fact. And in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a crucial time as this. Critical time, but they both work. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? Bang! Can be a little cage. Oh, the man in the iron mask. What? What the? What the? Waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. So we can't see the face inside. That means... I guess that means... Oh, whatever. Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model? Does that mean... Oh, goodness! I see you've joined the dots, Miss Susato. Excellent. Of course, a headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tespel's model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tespels will now have settled her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of this infamous professor. Yes. But why is it here? This conclusively confirmed my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tespels and returning it sans tete earlier today was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction are... They're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. Waxwork head has been entered into court record. I can only assume he used a dummy for where Harebrain was, and then the dead guy was out at the other side. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All there remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights. Obviously the man must still be here in the room. Oh yeah! And the bomb's gonna scare them out. What? And his location should be abundantly clear. The wardrobe. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room? I assumed the bomb was there to scare them out so he could get out eventually. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Wait! I just realized something. If Kazuma's not dead, what happened to the ballet girl? Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... No, the wardrobe? Or the... Oh, the safe. The safe.
Take that!
Yep, he's in the safe. Can you survive in a safe? Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. And pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process. From which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very, very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Drebber is at this very moment inside the safe. Nice. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. Nice. Inside the safe. Oh my god. Solved! I assumed he got out, but no, he's in the safe. Okay. Deduction complete. Elementary. So, Miss Naruhodo? I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide-and-seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? Let's see. The combination was 1432582. I knew it! Alright then, here we go. You found me. Okay. Crotch! It's putting in your face. Okay. Alright, think of a robotic voice for this guy, because what the fudge. Right then, sir. Mr. Enoch Drebber, I presume? Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Harebrine with that bogus machine of yours. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Dispels as well. Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions... Not even try the robot voice, I got nothing. The only thing I could do is do a cadence, like, whilst I would be delighted to answer your questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I refer, of course. I'm doing a robo voice, kind of. To the time bomb. I left it in the most prominent position. Ah! Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then. No! Mr. Sholmes? Well, with only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' deduction can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. Resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. Anti-gravity devices don't exist. Ugh, I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. Alright. Let's do some conversing. What happened here? What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. I'm gonna get that voice eventually, but I'm doing that cadence for now. Yeah, well, being given and thorough going over, don't you worry, Drebber. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh. For some reason, I woke in fine fettle today. Ah! No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly I must have a screw loose. Though as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. We also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. I just noticed he has freaking pluses and minuses on the left and right. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe? Having first set this parcel ticking? Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. Alright, the time bomb. Got the death wish, have ya? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe. It's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't have a scratch on it. What about the concussive damage, though? So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you'd climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. We have to do everything in reverse, though? I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you're planning to blow us all up? No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. Ah! I calculate the time required for retreat to be a safe distance, and set the device accordingly. But your seemingly endless discourse in here, there was manner in the works. Is something wrong, Mr. Gregson? Do I have something on my face, besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? Charles almost got them killed. I knew that joke was coming. I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition. And the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong, I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all, that's enough. Okay, what voice was this chick? What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigation here. Yes, well, Dr. Scythe again. Oh, I just got it. So the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well that this engineer is a key witness. What was the voice I gave the other chick? Oh god, I forgot all of a sudden. What did I give to spell? I gave to spell, like, I think, sharper? Why are you allowing this liar access to him? I gotta make this deeper, I think. If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. Going for a deeper voice there. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, there's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Miss Dr. Scythe? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you're quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell, you... Get out! But of course, we'll show ourselves the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mrs. Naruhodo. Yes? It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes! Let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. Huh? I said get out, now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There's a time bomb set in here that is locked disarmed. Inspector! Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drabber? So sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. Eh? What are you? Oh god, is Gina gonna die? That one? You mean... Oh, snap! He has one at the... It's been there that whole time? Oh, those two dudes are dead. You just killed two dudes? You just killed two dudes! Why even care about not hurting people? It was an hour later when we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrine's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. To be continued? To be continued, alright. What a stopping point. But would dynamite encased in metal really do that? I don't know. Can't really myth bust that. Alright. That's it for now. I have fun up if I'm watching. That's what's up, as it having fun. Thanks, and bye, and see you next time.